Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Freedom Friday here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm always your host here, the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about the Charlie Kirk murder trial, the Nolan Wells case, the racial division that it has caused in America, etc., as well as a couple other things, uh, like Mitch McConnell's health. Obviously, I got my Ohio Patriot Education Network hat, which I don't know what the hell the company's problem was when they made this, because it should have been Ohio here and then Patriot over here, because they fucked up lettering on that one. The N for education should have been right there, and then the network should have been about where it's at. So, I mean, it cost $12, so what do you really expect? But yeah, I have an official hat now. That's what it is. And then I'm going to, I got a couple other hats coming in too from the same company. That it's a purple hat, and it's going to have white coloration on it. There's what it is for the name for our logo and stuff. So hopefully it'll be better as what it is there. But yeah, I'm very disappointed with the way they did this one, honestly, because I was expecting to be like some kind of a how am I trying to say the word now? Like better embossed, I guess is what I would say. Like more like how my USA hat here is, like kind of like that, except it would be, Ohio stuff on it or whatever there. But again, you get what you pay for is what it is. It took a long time to get this hat into, by the way. Like it took like at least like 2 weeks for them to get it to me, which is ridiculous. It should have been to me in like a few days, basically max. Um, but yeah, it is what it is though. I also got some cool ass coins for the 250. This one got messed up when it was in shipping because the case they put it in was like, I don't know if it was cracked before they put it in there, if it was cracked after it got put in there, but yeah, they basically just got thrown into a package with a bunch of other stuff, and then they were in the bottom of the bag, or bottom of the box, I should say. But yeah, there's the actual brokenness of it there. So we're gonna show the coins how they're sweet. We got these off Amazon. They were like, I think they're like $5 a piece or something. So you got that side of it. That's the eagle, and then it's got the Statue of Liberty and the bell and everything on that side there. And then the back of it, you have the 250th anniversary thing. And then the other one that I think is even cooler, actually. So you got this side of it. That's got the eagle and like the founding fathers and stuff on there. And then the back side has the cool 250 years. So yeah, I found these the other day and I was like, I gotta pick those up, bro. They're fucking awesome. Of course, they're made in China and they show like they're gold, but I think they're gold plated is what it would be then. So I may or may not use one of those in the future when I'm doing the scratch off stuff. But then again, I don't want to ruin it if it is gold plated as what it is there. So, but yeah, they're cool either way. So, anywho, let's get into the topics of the day though. So we got the Charlie Kirk assassination trial going on now. We had the preliminary hearing this past week. Here's what it is. You had CBS come out with a story today where they were saying, where's it at here? Go pull this up real quick. Yeah, Charlie Kirk's family cites overwhelming evidence against activist alleged killer at preliminary hearing as preliminary hearing ends. Said family of Charlie Kirk said Friday they believe the prosecution has presented overwhelming evidence to show the killer, Tyler Robinson, was in fact the man who killed Charlie Kirk at the university or at the Utah Valley University in September 2025. It's crazy to think that there's only been 10 months right now since Charlie's assassination. Anyway, continues on. Said Charlie Kirk's family statements comes after a week-long preliminary hearing. Utah State District Judge Tony, I'm not sure I pronounced that guy's last name, Graff, will now decide if the prosecutors have enough evidence to put Robinson on trial on the charge of aggravated murder. and it goes on from there, basically. My biggest thing with Erica Kirk is, though, in this past almost year now is what it is she's definitely shown her true colors. And I believe this woman is definitely demonically possessed. I don't know by what demon it is, if it's just some random demon from hell, or if it's like kind of like a ball kind of demon or whatever it is there, like one of the actual known named demons. Or hell, it might be Lilith, honestly, for that matter. You know, Lucifer's first chick. So who knows? But anyway, we'll never know. It is weird though the way that they like. I think the whole thing is weird. Like, and I'm not going to be out here doing conspiracy stuff like your Candace Owens types and stuff like that do obviously all the time. But one thing I will say is, it does seem very weird, like the circumstances behind Charlie Kirk's death and stuff like that, and like everything that occurred in like the days and weeks after it. There, like specifically, you had Spencer, what's his face, who's the Utah governor, basically have some company go out there and like dig up a bunch of soil around the area and like do like a whole thing where they just like relayed like concrete and stuff like that. Like it was very strange. And like that's just one of many weird things that happened after that there. And I think a lot of what honestly let people do conspiracy theories is what it is there. Could have easily been debunked had that back camera or whatever it was there, which I think pretty sure it's a back camera. Some people say it's a projector and it's not a camera at all or whatever. I don't know if that's the case or not. But one thing I will say is that for sure, if they had simply done their job a more proper way and just released any kind of footage that they would have had there is what it is, instead of making it look all suspicious and shit like that, you would have had a lot less people come out of the woodwork and be like, oh yeah, it's this thing, or it's the Jews, or it's the mic that Charlie was wearing was an explosive device or something like that from the Jews, which is what Candace Owens obviously loves to throw out there all the time is what it is. So I don't know, man. Like it's just like I said, I think they could have been done better, honestly. And hopefully all this stuff will come out in the coming days and weeks in this trial is what it is then. Because if it does, then it won't really matter. It'll just be, hey, it's just, a year later is what it is, basically. And we actually have the real evidence of what it would be then. Versus, just all the random suspiciousness going on right now is what it is. Of just like hiding of various important details and things like that. And it's just like the whole thing just seems very weird is what it is, So not to mention Erica's like quote unquote lack of any real grieving, it seems like, where she just wanted to stay in the spotlight this entire time. Because really, like, I don't know about y'all, man, but for me personally, like having lost my mother here in the last couple of years now, dude, the last thing I'm gonna do is go into the fucking spotlight and be all like, oh yeah, let's do this, or the other thing, or whatever the case be, or take over some company or whatever. It's like, no, I'm gonna step the fuck back from all that shit and let the day-to-day operations be done by somebody else as what it is then. And I'm gonna be at home, with family. In Erica's case, it'd be with her kids and stuff like that. And grieving with the children and the family and the parents and everything like that. So yeah, like that all just seems very suspicious to me in general. And like I said, it could easily be explained away if she's actually, if we are talking about like evil and like Satanism and demonic energy and stuff like that, and just demonism and stuff like that. Like it would make a lot of sense if she was just demonically possessed this entire time. So, which actually, or actually, I guess technically in a secondary case of that one, it would be kind of like the Terminator theory, where she's actually like a Terminator underneath the skin. And it would be almost like the robotic nature and shit would actually make sense too on that one. Which I'm actually kind of starting to believe in that theory a lot for some of the stuff going on in our society currently, because there's a lot of shit that could easily be explained if you would have like people in positions that would actually be fucking robots in disguise, basically. And it would be like Skynet's already taken over in the future kind of deal. And they just sent like X number of Terminators back with like certain people. And now you got this stuff going on or whatever the case be, or actually even really just like one or two T1000s would make sense, because then you would have, you know, them impersonating like 50 people or something like that would be then. And you could just have them go around and just like, you know, it's like, oh, today they're this person, next day they're that person, you know, et cetera there. And that would also lead credence to things as well. But I don't know. It's hard to say, man. Okay. There we go. My mic seemed to come unplugged for a sec there. I think I need to get a new cord for it again, is what it is, or get a new mic, one of the two. But yeah, so anyway, I was hanging out with my neighbors. The chick that lives behind me, and then the guy that lives on the other side there the other day for 4th of July. That was fun. My apologies for not doing a 3rd of July stream. I was just not feeling great last week as it was. But yeah, she invited me out. She's like, "Oh, you want to come watch the fireworks with everybody?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I went outside. We were chilling out at her place, or by her place, for a couple minutes, watching some people shoot off stuff over here and then over that way. And then eventually, that neighbor guy, Chuck, was like, "Hey, you guys should come over here to the parking lot area and watch over here or whatever." And so we ended up going over that way, and we were basically just sitting in the parking lot for probably like an hour or so. And there was like a whole bunch of fireworks going on that way. My understanding is, from talking to him, where this place sits, you basically have the city over here that is where I get my water from. They do a fireworks show in some park or whatever over this area every 4th of July. And then you got people over that way. That's a different township. Or I think it's a different town actually. And apparently they do a fireworks show like not far from here as well. And so yeah, we basically got like this cool explosion on both sides for like about an hour or so of various fireworks shows. So it was pretty fun. And then of course he got on my ass because I was talking about, like, mind you, this was like it was like 11:15, 11:20 that night. And we were all sitting in a parking lot, dark ass parking lot. About 15 minutes prior to this, give or take, there was a woman that lives down the way in the complex a little bit, who apparently her dogs had gotten out off leash, is what it is. And instead of just grabbing some leashes real quick and trying to like wrangle them in, she basically let them run free. So this random ass German Shepherd comes running up on us as we're sitting there watching fireworks and just is barking its head off. I thought it was going to attack one of us, honestly. And I'm sitting there, you know, justifiably reaching for my gun, is what it is. It's in my pocket at the time because I'm sober, obviously. And then later on, I got into it with the dude that lives over there because he's like, "Why are you carrying, bro?" And I'm like, "Do you not understand that we almost got dog attacked like less than a half hour ago? Like, why the fuck do you think I'm carrying, dude? Because it's like 11 at night in the middle of darkness, and there's a literal guy around here that on this street and then the street next to us, like a week ago, was prowling around and creeping on old women and stuff like that." It's like, why wouldn't I be carrying? You know, it's like, it's fucking common sense, man. And of course, this whole last week, I've been having trouble sleeping out here now in the recliner because the neighbor lady that lives across the way in the next complex there keeps turning on her light every night, is what it is there, because this prowler guy hasn't been caught yet. So it's a real pain in the dick, honestly. But yeah, like I'm just like I'm thinking to myself when I'm talking to this dude, I'm just like, are you really questioning why I'm armed right now, dude? Like I get your shit faced, but like I am sober as a fucking judge, bro. So like, why wouldn't I be armed? But yeah, it's just craziness. That's what it is. So anyway, but yeah, moving on to next story of the day, which is the Nolan Wells case. For those who didn't hear about this one yet, which if you've lived under a rock for the past 6 days or so, that's why you hadn't heard about it, honestly. If you haven't been, basically what happened was there was a bunch of dudes that went out to some island called Horn Island. It's near the Gulf of America / Gulf of Mexico. Uh, and apparently my understanding was all the guys involved were all teammates. There's obviously evidence, both photo and I believe video evidence of them drinking underage because they were all like 18, 19. And there's obviously photos of them with like, I don't know if it was like a White Claw in their hands or what exactly kind of alcoholic beverage it was there, but they were obviously drinking on the boat as what was there. At some point, you had this Nolan kid get separated from the white friends, and he ended up getting left on the island because they were all leaving on their boat or whatever it was, and he was going to catch another boat ride, is what it was later on or something. From my understanding, is what it was. He apparently never made it off the island because he was found dead 2 days later. As far as I'm aware, the coroner's calling it drowning at this point. Of course, all the black supremacist types, all the anti-white racist types, etc., out there have used this case now to basically push their own racial narrative against white people in this country now. And I find it very interesting how, really, when you look at the history of everything going on in the past year or so now, I would say a lot of the black supremacy and anti-white racism really started in 2025 after Austin Metcalf's murdered by Carmelo Anthony. And you had all these black supremacist types and anti-white racist types that were basically funding Carmelo's GoFundMe or Gibson Go, whatever it was. And then really it's ramped up here in the last like 30 days to 90 days, give or take, which was really around the time of the Carmelo trial. And then now this Nolan Wells case and a bunch of other cases like that are similar to what it is there, to where you have all these, black activist types, black supremacist types, anti-white racist types, grifter types, etc. A bunch of clout chasing fucking faggoty ass cunts that are coming out of the woodwork, etc., to make a name for themselves, are all trying to push this racist narrative is what it is there, where it doesn't exist really is what it is, dude. And from what I heard most recently is apparently this Nolan kid, the last person that actually spoke to him, what it sounds like in person, was a buddy of his named Jay Vaughn. And I don't know too many white kids named Jay Vaughn. So, I can only assume it was some black dude that was also on the island that day. So who's to say it wasn't something where they got into a fucking, if this even was kind of any kind of foul play, which I don't think it was, honestly. I think it was just him getting drunk and then trying to swim back to the shore is what it is, and drowning probably, and not realizing that he couldn't fucking swim is what it is because he was so drunk. Or possibly he could swim, but he was so drunk he just didn't know which way he was going, whatever the case being, ended up drowning. That's what it was. But yeah, if there wasn't any kind of foul play, I would assume it was like black on black, honestly, at that point then. So, but I do find it very interesting how you have so many of these people coming out of the woodwork now and being all like, oh, black people, should you let your kids hang out with white friends and stuff? And it's like, yeah, pretty sure it's not a bunch of white people going around murdering people. It's a bunch of black on black crime in this country, a bunch of black on white crime, a bunch of black on Latino, etc. They're like the highest murder stats, etc., in this nation right now for the last like 30 to 40 years, give or take. So, yeah, it's just a bunch of fucking nonsense, honestly. And I think, honestly, a lot of what we're seeing now is exactly what led to Jim Crow back in the day. And I think we're going to see very much a Jim Crow era again in my lifetime because of all this stuff, because you have so many people that are just trying to push this racial narrative. They're just trying to push racial division, etc. there. And I believe truthfully, like, you'll end up seeing it come to fruition very soon where people are just going to have enough. And by people, I mean whites and Asians specifically are going to have enough of being attacked by blacks, being killed by blacks, etc. there, and dealing with other minorities like Latinos and stuff like that. And it's just going to be this, separation, essentially. And I think that's exactly why you're seeing the whole remigration thing start to pick up steam now is what it is. People are like, no, just remigrate back to the country your family came from originally. And I think that's what's going to happen very soon. Here's what it'll be. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of what we've seen in the past 60 years or so in this country with the civil rights era, a lot of people are finally waking up to that fact, whether it be younger millennials, zennials like myself, Gen Z specifically, even some of Gen Alpha too, for that matter, are finally waking up and realizing, like, yeah, we've been hoodwinked. we had this forced racial integration that none of us ever wanted to be a thing. And it basically fucked over everybody, is what it is. And it really did, honestly, because you look at what happened in the past 6 decades or so since the whole thing happened there with the forced integration of, race mixed schools and stuff like that, etc. And you have the black community at the time in the late 50s, early 60s, there's what it was, that actually had black owned businesses that were thriving, that went out of business almost immediately when you had these people be able to come into white neighborhoods and buy from white shops and stuff like that. And then, of course, you've had, thievery like crazy in retail stores and stuff like that for the past several decades now. And it just seems to be getting more and more rampant every time. And then you got morons like that Summer Lee woman who's a congresswoman who I don't understand how the fuck she's even in office at this point, honestly, dude. She came out and made some fucking dumbass retarded statement today. Let me see if I can find it real quick because it was on X earlier today. I'm pretty sure I reshared it on our page. Let me go see if I can find this real fast. Because it was some like just blatant ass fucking nonsense. So oh, that's why. It's because the voter fraud in Pennsylvania is why she's in office. When they don't actually have election audits and stuff like that in their place. And yeah, the stupid cunt said the deodorant and razors at CVS are locked up merely because America loves mass incarceration. How is this bitch still in office after that stupid ass statement, dude? Seriously. It's fucking retarded. So fucking retarded. It's like, no, bitch, they're locked up because people look like you're dumbass are the ones stealing them all the time. And mostly they're stealing them and reselling them is what it is. I'm not sure about the deodorant part, but I know the razors they're definitely reselling is what it is there. And it's been proven like for years now and stuff like that. When you had California do their whole anything under $950 was considered a misdemeanor crime. They end up having a situation there where you had these people that were literally walking around with calculators in their pockets and doing how much everything cost to make sure that they were under that $950 threshold so they could go steal $900 worth of shit is what it is. And then they were going around the corner like a block or two away and reselling it on the street corners is what it was then. Like they would steal like big old jugs of Tide, whether it be Tide Pods or whether it be Tide, what do you call it now? Washer, detergent, etc. There, like anything that was like money basically, or could be valuable money is what it is there. They would easily, steal and then either sell off to a middleman or they would go sell on the streets themselves as it is then. And that was the thing. Like you had like this whole retail racket that it is there. I mean, hell, you had people stealing Legos for God's sakes. There was a thing here in California, like when I think I did a stream about that if I'm not mistaken, in the last 6 months or so, where it was like 2 or 3 people that were busted for like it was like $180,000 in like Lego theft or something crazy like that. It might even be more than that. I'm thinking about it. It might be more like several $100,000. But yeah, it was just craziness. That's what it is, dude. And again, it makes sense when you think about it. When you have these people that are basically given slaps on the wrist constantly, if they're even arrested at all for that matter, and then they go back and they just redo the crime again, is what it is there. And so they just keep repeat offending until they're eventually. It's like these ones that we've seen many times, like the Arenas Ruska killer and stuff like that, where the dude's let out like 75 times, whatever it is there, and then murders some chick in cold blood, and then finally gets arrested and charged. And then, of course, is deemed mentally ill after the fact, which is so retarded to me. It's the same thing with that Bianca Ellis woman that murdered Julian Wood here in Ohio, outside of the Giant Eagle up there in Cleveland area. It's like, this bitch was clearly insane to begin with. She should have never been out of fucking prison in the state. Yet they let her out of prison in the state. And then she goes and steals a knife from some thrift shop or whatever it was there and uses it to kill Julian. And then she's deemed mentally ill and not fit for trial for a long time is what it is. And then they finally brought her on trial. But instead of giving her the death penalty, they give her life imprisonment, I believe is what it was. So it's just so ridiculous what it is, dude. And again, it's this fucked up tiered justice system we live in right now, where you have these black criminals that are able to go criminalize and kill, etc. there without prejudice. and basically be let off the hook again and again and again. And then people were wondering, like, why our society's gone to shit is what it is. And it's like, that's exactly why, because we have no real justice system anymore, dude. We have a justice system that has so failed on us that citizen vigilantism will probably become a thing very soon, is what it is. So, but yeah, I don't know. I just find it very, very disgusting in general. And I think it's even more disgusting that you have so many people using this Nolan Wells kid unfortunate death to basically push racial narratives and stuff like that, when in reality, from everything I've seen about the whole case, there's what it is. It sounds like it was an accidental drowning, honestly. It sounds like the kid got super drunk underage because he was partying with his buddies on the 4th of July. And then they end up leaving early or whatever the case being. He was going to catch another boat off the island and then just fucked up and didn't realize or whatever, like which boat he was supposed to catch or whatever it was there, because obviously he's probably super hammered, is my guess, and ends up drowning trying to either swim for shore or something else happened in that case, or someone else on the island that potentially maybe killed him, if that be the case then. So, but yeah, I think it's very disgusting that you have so many people like trying to use this as like, oh, should your black kids hang out with their white friends and stuff? And it's like I saw a good one last night, actually. It was this black dude who was talking about living in a predominantly white neighborhood and was like, should I let my black son hang out with these white kids around here? And it's like, why are you even living in the white neighborhood, bro? Like, that was my question on that one. It's like, if you're really that much of a black supremacist piece of shit, dude, then why the fuck are you even living in a white neighborhood, son? Take your ass to some fucking, black neighborhood and live there is what it is. Oh yeah, that's right. You don't want to live there because it's a fucking ghetto shithole is what it is. So, and that's the whole point, dude. It's funny to me when you look at all these, whether it be a black rapper or whether it be a basketball player, football player, whatever it is, doesn't matter, honestly. But it's all these dudes that grew up in the hood. Like, the second they have money from some source, whatever it is there, whether it be, like I said, music career or ball playing career, whatever it is there, like the second they get that paycheck, they are out of the fucking hood and they never return, is what it is. Because even they know it's a fucking shithole, dude. And they're like, yeah, why the fuck would I stay here and, risk my life and stuff coming back here? So it's like, no, they're going to move to some predominantly white neighborhood, usually gated community that's a safe area and stuff. And they're going to live there is what it is then. So anyway. But yeah, I just find it very interesting how many people have like let their true colors show in the past, anywhere from like month to a couple months to a year now, of how much anti-white racist they really are and how many black supremacists they really are is what it is there. So, which I think a lot of this started under Obama, honestly, when he gave that hate platform to BLM back in 2014 at the White House. So really, this is about 12 years in the making, give or take. But at the same time, I think a lot of it's just, ignorance in many cases. So anyway, either way, it's just sad. It really is. And it really just disgusts me in general. So I was going to go to the gun shop earlier today, but then I ended up not going to my chiropractor appointment at all. So, because my body was just too shitty today. I think it's the storms and stuff that are coming around now. About 13 hours ago, I ended up having a slight power surge, take out my power for about 15 seconds or so. It was just long enough to basically reset my modem, turn off the power to the recliner, and then reset my washer and dryer, because I heard that go on twice, because it basically surged and then surged again and then surged again. And I heard the power go on to the washer dryer, and I heard a couple other different things like surge out, basically. So thankfully it wasn't enough to take out my fridge, because I found out last year when that happened during that one storm, because it was like an hour or so the power was out for, that apparently with the way the fridge is, for some weird reason, there is a reset thing on each side of the kitchen there. I guess it would be a kitchenette, technically speaking. But where my kitchen sits in this apartment, there are reset panel things on the outlets, and apparently when the power goes out, if it goes red, the one on this side is to the fridge. It'll reset the fridge then, and then the other side it resets. I think it's the oven or something is what it is then. So, which makes sense honestly, but at the same time, it just seemed kind of weird though, honestly. But yeah, my understanding is though because of that, like it basically because originally I thought the breaker was messed up when it happened last year, but then I ended up having my cousin coming over then because we were trying to figure it out, and he ended up realizing like, oh, there's this light on over here. Let me flip this switch or whatever it is there, and they hit the button and it like immediately turned the fridge back on then. So yeah, it's a learning curve thing, which I'm gonna have to relearn when I move out of here and move to a different place in the next couple months. Is what it is then. Still haven't found a new place, unfortunately. So I don't know if it'd be worth it to just stay here through November, just so I don't end up getting fucked up when it comes to being able to vote then, because I think with the way things are right now, I don't know that I would be able to vote if I did move, just because of not having enough time to switch my address and stuff like that is what it is and get my ID updated and stuff like that, versus now, if I were to stay here for another, essentially a couple months is what it is then. I could early vote probably October, I think is what it is. And then hopefully after that, be able to move after the fact, as would be then. So my vote should still count, as would be. But yeah, it just depends, honestly. It depends if I can find something before then or not. But yeah, I don't know. This governor's race is becoming just like the biggest shit show ever in Ohio, though. Because I think no matter what, come next year, I'm going to have to start filing the proper paperwork and stuff like that to get abolishment of state government going then, because there's no way that either Vivek or Acton can take the governor's race. And if either does, it'll have to be immediate, pretty much impeachment at that point, which is never going to happen because of the retarded criminality within the General Assembly currently. So it's going to have to be total abolishment of government then under Article 1, Section 2 of the Ohio Constitution. So I do feel sorry for some people in the General Assembly currently, because there's like a handful of good people still there, which I would say maybe 20 or so of the 130 something that are in there right now. However, that being said, when you have like 90 something, they're just complete sacks of shit or criminals doing all kinds of criminal shit, whether it be pay to play scandals, whether it be various bribery scandals, whether it be other criminal activities, etc. They all need to fucking go and be replaced by people that have ever been in power as it is then. So anyway, which I know is going to be a process, and I'm sure it'll never actually get the foothold it needs unless people are really pissed. But who knows? And I know why they're doing this stuff here in Ohio, though. It's because we are a battleground state. We are the literal heart of America, is what it is. And so they're trying to fuck us over. It's like the whole thing with the flock cameras recently. There was for those who haven't heard about those things, you have the flock company who is falsely claiming that it's about scanning license plates of people and stuff like that. Yet, meanwhile, in the past day or two, there's been videos coming out of them literally putting these flock camera systems up outside of sporting goods stores like Academy Sports. And it's like, when you're pointing that shit right at the door, dude, you're clearly trying to find gun owners is what it is, motherfucker. Like, you're not doing that for license plate reading. You're doing it for fucking spying on American citizens, and you're violating Fourth Amendment rights is what it is there, motherfuckers. So, anyway. I'm just really disgusted in general. So, I do want to point out something, though, because I haven't seen it. Actually, two things on that one. There's a couple of good deals right now for 2A stuff going on. Apparently, Delta Team Tactical has recently gotten a bunch of blind box uppers, is what it is there. In stock, they're like blems and stuff, is my understanding. So it's probably like when they were building them, there's like a scratch or something here and there, is what it is on a thing. But when you're talking about a C note for it, dude, like that's a good fucking deal. Like I'm seriously considering about picking one or two up honestly at this point. So, and then there's another company out there called the Mag Shack that I've done business with a couple times now, and they have some pretty good deals. They had some pretty good deals on their 250 anniversary ones that have unfortunately passed this point. But yeah, I got a bunch of different mags because of them. Also got one of those Maglula up, one of the Maglula loaders is what it is for the ARs is what it is. And I'll tell you what, dude, like the difference between loading a rifle mag with my bare hands, with the amount of arthritis in my fingers and stuff, and using the mag loader where I can just go flip, 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 flip back and forth 30 times. Oh my God, it's so much better. I was doing that the other day with the mag loader, and I was able to load a mag in less than 2 minutes, which is very impressive given the fact that usually it would take me like, if I was doing it barehanded, it would be about probably 15 to 20 minutes per mag. So, in fact, I was able to load like an entire box of mags in like an hour. 100%. I will give that the nod of approval. So my thing is, anybody out there has a rifle right now that does not have a mag loader for it, like one of those Maglula loaders is what it is, I would definitely say pick up one of those Maglula loaders, dude. If you can get it for 25, get it for 25. If you can get it for 30, get it for 30, because it's a good deal either way. Just the amount of wear and tear it saves on your hands is absolutely worth the money. So, in fact, I wish they had a pistol mag loader that was like that, where it would just flip, flip, and flip, and flip, flip, flip. Unfortunately, they don't. I think I do. I bought the mag loader from them that was a similar one, but I'm still having issues getting that one done. I have a couple other ones that I got from I got specifically one from the BRG kit that I got from that BRG9 I bought. It's just like a push down one, and that's a little bit hard to keep going, is what it is there. But it's not bad. I used that recently to load a few mags that I got from Mag Shack company there out of Florida. So, but yeah, they're both decent as what it is though. So, but like I said, that Maglula AR loader is definitely top notch though, dude. So anyway, but on that note, I got some stuff I gotta do because it is almost 8 o'clock now. And that's about it for today. So I will be back tomorrow. We will be doing a Slicey Boy Saturday episode. I'll be doing a few different knives. We will do one of the D2s I got in recently. We'll probably do a couple D2s actually, and then do a DC53 is what it is. Flipper. So until then, I will see you guys tomorrow around probably 3-ish or so, whenever I feel like doing that. And then I'll be doing some other stuff this coming weekend. Hope I'll be able to get to the gun shop then on Sunday. Pick up some either full lowers or some strip lowers, one of the two. I'm not sure which yet. It depends on what they have in stock. But either way, I got stuff coming in from DTT to do strip lowers is what it is right now. So if they don't have the full lowers that I want to buy over there, I'll just buy some strip lowers what it is then and just do it the stuff as what it is then. Have another lower with the James Madison tactical triggers in it, and then have a couple with the regular trigger packs then is what it'll be. So, which there's nothing wrong with the regular mil spec stuff, except it is a little bit spongy, I guess is what the best way to describe it would be. The only thing I like about those one horse full lowers is that they have, it seems like more of an enhanced polished trigger is what it is there. And it does seem like a crisper break with that compared to just your mil spec stuff. And then of course the James Madison tactical triggers that I got now that are the little cassette ones. Depending on how my cousin's buddy can put those in place is what it is there. As long as he can do them with praise what it is there. Those should be really nice because there'll be probably about a 2-pound difference between the basic bitch ones I have in a lot of the lowers now and those ones because they're about My understanding is it's supposed to be somewhere between 3.5 and 4 pound pool. Some people say it's about 4.5 pounds, and they've done it on the trigger gauges and stuff like that, which is still like at least a couple pounds shorter than a regular trigger pull would be then. And for somebody like me with the arthritis in my hands and stuff like that, it's going to be a lot better to do, obviously, then. So, but yeah, the plan right now is I'm going to have at least 2 of those be rifle lowers and have 1 be a pistol lower. That's what they'll be. And so I should have, it would be 4 AR pistols when it's all said and done then, and then a bunch of different rifle ones. So, and then I got a different upper recently that's going to be, because I got the 350 Legend upper that I'll use for hunting at some point this coming fall, whenever we have our week-long whitetail deer season here in Ohio, which I really wish was like a month long, honestly, because it'd be much easier to deal with. And you have a lot more people go out there and hunt. That's what it is then. But yeah, my plan right now is to do that. And then I'll probably just switch that upper out with that 5.56 upper that I got coming in. That's what it'll be. So if anything does go down, it'll be, I'll just have the 5.56 upper on the gun already. And then I could just hand somebody a rifle and a pack of a little bag of mags. It'll be then for their kit. If something ever happens and we need to have like, a convoy ready to go, so it is then. So thankfully nothing happened on the 4th of July, which I was surprised by. I was actually really surprised Islam didn't do anything then. But seeing what I'm seeing now in the past week or so, with them now down in Florida and a couple other different universities pushing propaganda and stuff like that and trying to convert people to Islam and shit, I think it's really a slow go at this point, honestly. I think it's basically a war of attrition to kick these people the fuck out of our nation by forcing it is now, dude, before they start taking over, because when you have at least a 1% population in this country that's trying to subjugate the Constitution and our God-given rights as a Christian nation for their Islamic terrorist bullshit, we've got to deal with it before it fucking gets out of hand. So it is. We got to deal with it before we become fucking England and the UK at this point, honestly. So, anyway, hope you all have a good rest of your night. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow afternoon for Slicey Boy Saturday. We will do a DC 53 versus D2 folding blades. And until later, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Always be carrying. Always be situationally aware. Always be ready with both lethal and non-lethal. And if somebody doesn't want to be around you, then don't associate with them is what it is, man. If they want to push a racial narrative that they hate you, you have just as much right to hate them as what it is then. And it's that simple, honestly. Because they're an idiot, and instead of being cool, if they want to be a dick, then yeah, don't associate with them. Don't let your kids associate with them. And just hang out with people that want to hang out with you is what it is then. And it's that simple, honestly. So I will see you guys tomorrow for SBS. Till later. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe. Peace out. Later.